Wow, a lot of people are getting stressed out with this rent situation. Here we have a shooting. With regard to, they're saying it's a rent dispute, and it's appearing that the person that did the shooting was the landlord. So tempers are really flying again. Right, this is, in my opinion, the calm before the storm because we still have the rent moratorium, which is saving a lot of people. But let's just be realistic. When that moratorium ends, it's really going to get like the wild, wild west. So check this out, fair use.
All right, we continue to follow breaking news this morning. 2 women are dead and a man is in the hospital after a shooting, allegedly over a rent dispute.
Yeah, Fox 5's Nkirika Zuka joins us live near downtown, where that scene is still very active at this hour. Good morning, Nkirika.
Hey, good morning, guys. So yeah, Metro tells us that this landlord killed 2 women that were living inside his home and shot another man 9 times. That man is currently in critical condition in the hospital. Metro says the call came just after midnight last night. After multiple shots were fired, they found a woman in the front yard with gunshot wounds. They brought her down the street to get treated. Medical crews did try to save her, but they were not able to, and she was pronounced dead. While officers were securing the scene, another man came outside of the house with 9 gunshot wounds. He was rushed to UMC, where he is now in critical condition. After SWAT negotiators went in, another woman was found dead inside the home. The suspect is a man in his 70s. He did not cooperate at first, but after negotiations with SWAT, he was taken into custody. Now, officers do believe that the landlord did live inside the home along with the victims. No word yet on the relationship between all of them, and they say that there is no evidence that this was self-defense. Of course, we'll be following the story for you and updating you with details as we get it. But for now, David and Jason, I'll send it back to you guys.
70s, in his 70s. So they're saying that he lived there, and I guess they lived there. I kind of wonder, did he like want them to get out and they refused to get out? Is that what happened? I'm wondering if that was possibly the issue and it escalated. And as you can see, I mean, one person shot 9 times. I can't claim self-defense on that. But this just lets you know, I think a lot of people are losing it. Again, imagine if and when the moratorium stops. This is like the tip of the iceberg. Some people really feel that, hey, they're being taken advantage of. One person said that they were evicted from their place because guess what? The landlord was evicted. So do you think someone's going to sit up here and go, oh, I've got a rental property and I just got evicted from my home or foreclosed on? They're not going to just sit up there and be living in their vehicle and they own a car. So they evicted them even during the moratorium. I believe in the state of Tennessee that it has been stated that the state is not respecting the moratorium on rent and still allowing people to be evicted. I believe that's the state of Tennessee, if I'm not correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. Landlords are filing lawsuits. I think it's going to come to a point, in some cases it seems it's up to the judge's discretion. It's going to come to a point that a lot of them are going to be like, hey, they're going to side with the landlord. So this here, just think, we have the moratorium now and people are still being evicted. People are still, being displaced. Imagine if the moratorium ends. It's not going to be a pretty sight. So this here, I've heard of a case of a landlord. Hey, he happened to live next door, and there was a family in the house that he owned. They weren't paying rent because of the COVID. Mother or father, they had a minor child, and they also had a baby. He shows up in a bulletproof vest with a gun while they're in there to get them out, and then he was arrested. He lived next door, losing it. Why? Because he's probably still paying the mortgage on that house and the insurance and the property taxes. That still has to be paid. So people are seeing it as, I think some of these landlords are seeing it, which I totally get it. They're seeing it as, oh, I'm paying for you a place to live. And it's not fair to them. It's just not. This rental assistance to the landlords, it's not coming fast enough. It needs to be revised. Well, if the tenant doesn't sign, They just pay the check to the landlord. Just pay it to the landlord. And what a lot of people don't understand, you think it's an issue now with the mom and pop. A lot of people don't understand how Wall Street works. They care about one thing, and that's the money. So you think it's an issue now with the mom and pop. Man, you wait. These hedge funds are buying a lot of these properties. And when it comes to renting out these homes and what have you, condos and apartments, you may see a whole new type of rental agreement. There will be no mercy. They don't want to hear about, oh, my kids. You might can run a little game on the little mom and pop landlord. Or I'm going to get mad and cause a plumbing problem, and you're going to have to pay half. That's old news. But trust and believe, when these hedge funds, they're all about making money, okay? They do not care about you, your big mama, your grandmama, or me, or grandpa. They do not care. So a lot of people you're about to see in this country, I guarantee you, and of course it's my opinion, but knowing how organizations work compared to people, you're about to see a change in the rental market, and it's not going to be for your good. Oh no, they'll be tacking on all kind of fees. If you think you're going to go there and I'm going to rent a place and I'm going to complain, blah, blah, blah. No, go ahead and try it with those hedge funds. When they start owning those properties, go ahead and give it your best shot. The rent is increasing for one reason. They're about making money. They don't want to hear about, well, all these people in old ball humbug and what are they going to do about their children? They do not care. They do not care. So there's a change right now going on with a lot of rentals. The hedge funds are buying up the properties. They're buying them up from the banks, just like they buy stock in blocks. You and I may pay $13. They're paying $5 and $6 a share. Why? Well, they're buying in blocks. Hello. They might buy 100 shares, 100,000 shares, tens of thousands of shares. That's why they're buying in blocks to get a discount. So a lot of rental contracts are going to really be altered. It's not going to be the way you think. You think it was a trip now with the mom and pop. Let this happen again, and let some of these hedge funds that own these properties see what's going to happen. Oh, well, I'm not going to sign so the owner can get their money. They may have a clause in there to protect themselves. That they're not mom and pop. It's a whole different kind of party. They will handle business. They've got the money for the lawyers. So for rental, a lot of people trying to get over, I'm not going to pay, do this and that run game. You're going to be in for a hell of a surprise, because the ones that think that way, you have small mindset. Sweetie, you're not that smart. They're a lot smarter. They have a lot more money. They have attorneys who can think for them, to think through every possible situation, and it'll be in that contract. The words aren't on the page just for the hell of it or for decorations. They will think through every possible situation given this pandemic. Don't be surprised they have a pandemic clause in there. And you just sign, and then you look up, wait a minute, well, they're having the pandemic says this. Yeah, but see, in your contract, if you look in paragraph 14, line 7, it says that during a pandemic that you agreed to vacate the property within 3 days. Well, they didn't tell me that. They didn't have to. That's how they operate. So imagine things go back to normal, or as close as to normal can be. Okay, you've signed on your condo, your apartment, or your home rental, and then you look up, we've got another issue. Hey, I'm being evicted. But they said this here. They may have a contract saying, hey, you forfeit, or you agree to move out voluntarily, and you don't know that. That's how they operate. So this here with the rentals, when I heard about the hedge funds buying all these properties, I already knew what was up. It's going to be a whole new game, a whole new sheriff in town. And for the ones to get, I'm going to go ahead and get over, or I'm not going to move. Newsflash, they don't think like me and you. They've got lawyers on deck. They're going to cover their rear ends. So I just think we don't have all the details yet for this man. It's horrible. I mean, the loss of life, really, of a rental dispute. I'm just kind of wondering, maybe he wanted them, maybe since he was there, staying there, I wonder, I wonder if he wanted them out and they wouldn't leave, had nowhere to go, and they didn't have the money to pay him, and things escalated. So hopefully more details will come forward. But you might want to go ahead and pay that rent to Pops, because look here, you might get shot. It's that serious. People are really losing it. Thanks for watching. Look forward to your comments. Feel free to like, share.